Okay, hello. We are back again to declutter portion of my makeup collection. This is all my base products that I have in my collection. I do not plan to keep a lot of this. I want to have a collection that's more manageable, to be able to use some things up. I only have one face. Excuse me, that's my dog. And I want to have something a bit more reasonable. So what I'm going to do first is organize this by category, primers, setting sprays, sorry, that's my dog again, concealers, powders, foundations. So let me get to doing that. Okay, we have everything pretty much organized now, and let me just start in the order of application because that's just easier for me to think through. So I'm going to start with primer. Now, I do have a skincare routine that I also consider to be a priming step, but sometimes I want some more moisture, some more glow. Sometimes I'm putting on my makeup, a couple hours after I've done my skincare and I feel like I need a boost. So I do want to have a few primers in my collection, but this is way too many and I don't use all of these. So I'm going to keep this backup along with this current one that's open that I'm using. It's about halfway through. This is a Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. I do really enjoy this one, so I will be keeping those. This one is Becca, I think it's called the First Light. Yes, First Light Priming Filter, and it is a more hydrating, just a tiny bit glowy, and it has that purple sheen to it to kind of brighten up sallow skin. I haven't gotten through enough of this since I purchased it, and I do want to get my money's worth out of it, so I am going to keep this one. This one is something that I'm almost worked my way through. It's the Aveeno Positively Radiant Max Glow Infusion Drops. These were a recommendation by Katie Jane Hughes, along with this Max Glow Serum Plus Primer. This I find actually does something for my face. It adds just a tiny bit of moisture. I wouldn't buy it again. This adds a lot of glowiness, but it just takes way too long to get through. I've been using it as a body serum to try to get, my money's worth out of it. So I won't be keeping this in my collection. I will be keeping this one, and hopefully I will be using it up soon. Okay, Weleda Skin Food is another one that, there I am, is another one that a lot of makeup artists on Instagram recommend. I have the Skin Food Light because when I tried them and did a tester, months and months ago, I found that this one felt like my skin could handle it a lot better. It does have a heavy scent, kind of like a lemongrassy, citrusy scent. So if scent bothers you, it does linger. And I would stay away, but other than that, it is a really nice hydrating, thick occlusive layer to add on if you're having some extra dry skin. Let's go with the last ones that I know I'm going to keep, which are these two. I got these on sale, but I hear people talk about them all the time and I really wanted to give them a try. So this is the Vichy Mineral 89, and this is the one for your eyes. I got these on super sale at Ulta, so I thought, what the heck, let me give it a try. I don't really have a review or anything for it at this point since it's kind of new to me, but I am going to be keeping them. This is a sample of the Tatcha liquid silk canvas. And here we have the mini of the Tatcha silk canvas. I'm going to be keeping these little samples. Excuse me, my dog just is getting comfy on the bed. I'm going to be keeping these just to work through. This is not my favorite, but I do want something that can blur pores. I find the liquid one to be pretty enjoyable, and I might purchase a full size if I ever got through this, and if I ever got through more of my collection and felt that I had that gap. So I'm going to keep this little sample and hopefully use it up, as well as this one, this mini. Now these three that are left, I think I'm going to just keep one of them. These are all kind of, well, these two right here are pore blurring. We have the No Problem from Touch and Soul and the NYX Angel Veil, which is pretty iconic on YouTube. I think I can find good homes for these. I find that they're just a little too slippy, a little bit too much dimethicone type of slippy texture for me, and I don't enjoy them, so I never reach for them, and for that reason they don't belong in my collection. So I'm gonna declutter these. I am gonna keep this one. I have been finding that my skin is kind of normalizing from really dry to more normal, and I do have some oil throughout the day as my makeup sits and wears. So I'm interested in trying this out. I got this a long time ago just to experiment with it, and I haven't really experimented with it. So I'm going to keep this in my collection, experiment with it. If in the next couple of months I don't use it, then I'm going to declutter it. So these two are for sure getting decluttered, and I am keeping the rest of those. Okay, the next thing I'm going to go through is my concealers right here. Actually, this is pretty easy because I'm going to be keeping all of these. This little sample of the Tarte Creaseless Concealer I actually really enjoy, and I would consider getting the full size of this. It is very creamy, very emollient, and it does crease, unlike the name suggests, it does crease, but I have particularly dry under eyes, and I find this sits really well. This one is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Concealer, and I actually find this one to be horrible under the eyes, but it's great for spot concealing around the face. And a lot of times these days, I've just been putting a little concealer on the face, blending it out, and wearing that as opposed to putting on a full layer of foundation or BB cream or what have you. So I like this one for the face. I want to try to work through it. These Fit Me concealers work pretty well for my under eyes, but I've been finding that just as it's getting drier, they're just not looking as great. This one I'm going to keep as a brightener shade. It is the number 5, and this one is my correct shade, number 15. It works well. I have made a pretty decent dent. You can't quite tell, but I'm going to try to use this one up at least. And if I find that I don't really get much lighter during this winter season, then I can probably find this one a new home. This NYX green color correcting concealer, green's supposed to cancel out red, I actually think I'm going to get rid of. It's more work than what I ever put in. If I have a blemish, I'll usually just use what I have. This heart-shaped tape, which I will be keeping, is very full coverage, and if it doesn't cover up the redness, I'm probably not even going to bother to put this type of thing underneath it. So this I will declutter. This I will be keeping. Again, I mentioned how it's full coverage. I don't really put it under my eyes, but I do like using it around the face, and I hope to get through it. But it is, you know, a lot of product, and I have the shade Fair Light Neutral. These are my two pop concealers. I have the Glossier Stretch Concealer, which I use all over the face and under the eyes. It's very creamy and emollient. I don't know what my shade is because I have mine from before they expanded the shade range. So I really need to get through this. I've been really making an effort to use up my concealers because I just want to be that kind of person who actually gets their money's worth out of their makeup. So I will be keeping that one, and I do like it. This one I bought during the craze where Kathleen Light was hyping this up. I do really like it for spot concealing. It probably actually covers a pimple on the face better than this Tarte Shape Tape does. So I'm going to keep this one around. I have Light Vanilla. I'll keep it around as long as it's still in good condition, and I'm happy to keep it around for that reason. Okay, moving on to foundations here. I'm gonna pull out the ones that I know I'm not gonna keep. These L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow were a go-to for me for a long time, but I think that there's just better formulas now. These are old. I don't know if they're quite expired, but I can see if I can find a new home for them. They have a bit of alcohol that I notice does dry my skin out. So even though they are very liquidy and they're a Pro Glow formulation, I find that it dries my skin just a bit. As well as this matte and poreless. This is a very early foundation purchase for me in my early days of getting into makeup. Again, nothing smells bad. I will recycle it if it is gone off, but if it is you know, in working condition, I'm happy to donate these to friends who might use them up. Otherwise, they will get cleaned out and recycled. So these three are leaving my collection. This is also going to be leaving my collection. This is the LA Girl Pro Coverage white foundation mix-in to lighten a foundation. I just find that I don't mess around with that stuff. If I have a foundation that's not quite my shade, I will either return it or I will mix it with other foundations that will lighten it up. I just don't find that I reach for this, and I usually do try my best to buy foundations that match me, and I don't fluctuate too much in color from summer to winter. So this doesn't really have a use. If I can donate this to somebody in my life who does have a use for it, then I'm gonna do that. So everything that's left here looks pretty good to me except for one thing. This Misha Perfect Cover BB Cream, which is a beautiful, gorgeous product. Jessica Braun talks about this a lot, and for good reason. I've just had this for a bit too long, and I think that this is an example of a product that has gone off. I find that when I put it on my face these days, it'll almost start itching a couple hours later. So I think this has gone off. I used up a bit of it, not enough of it. I really do have a new philosophy when it comes to purchasing makeup where I want to get the most use out of it. And so for that reason, I will be getting rid of this one and not replacing it. This is an example of a product that is very similar that I want to use up instead of adding to my collection to replace the Misha BB cream. I have this IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC cream. It is full coverage. I used up a sample of this and then bought a full size, which I actually regret. For some reason, when I was using it as a sample, it was looking so great on me. Now these days, I find that it can tend to emphasize my dry patches. Amanda Z here on YouTube absolutely adores this. If I use a certain application technique, I can get it to work for me, but I think it's going to be slow going to use this up because I only need one pump for my whole face. So I want to use this up. I will do it slowly but surely. So it is staying in my collection. This is also staying in my collection. Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude Water Fresh. This is a very liquidy, watery foundation. I love the way this looks. It is getting old, so I need to get more use out of it. It is a bit paler, and so for that reason, I think it will hopefully be good for me if I do lighten up a bit during this winter that's coming up, because it does need to get used up before it goes bad. This BB cream is something that's pretty old, but it does work well. I like to have a lighter coverage option in case I do want something all over my face and not just want to do a spot conceal and spread out type of day. So I'm going to keep this one and use it up. I think there's a decent amount that's been used up despite it looking pretty full here. I think there's a lot of air in there. These ones are iconic. Taylor Wynn on YouTube here, I think, blew these up, and then for some reason CYO decided to close its doors. Amanda Z has discovered that Soap and Glory has a foundation that's identical. I think they have the same parent company, so if you wanted to try out this formula, which I highly recommend, then you can try out that. I have 3 colors here. I have 102, 103, and 101. You can see how similar they are. I can make all of these work when I'm tanner, which is right now. I'm going for this 103, so I'll keep these as backups, and I'll keep this 103 in my collection. This is the last foundation that I will be keeping. This is my only, as you can tell, really full coverage. Sorry, I didn't mention, but these are a very dewy medium coverage fresh finish on the face. This is more full coverage, but it does dry down to be a bit more satiny, and it's not extremely drying on my face. So this is my event. If I have a wedding, which isn't happening, events aren't happening right now, but I do want to keep this in my collection. If I was going to be going out all day or taking pictures, doing my own kind of little mini photo shoot, I might consider wearing something like this if I was going to be getting sweaty, because it does look really good throughout the day and have that more full coverage, more glam kind of finish. So these are all the foundations I'm going to be keeping. I didn't mention these two little samples. I want to use these up. These are samples of the Laura Mercier. I think it's called a tinted moisturizer, but it is a lightweight kind of BB cream type product. I just want to use these up. Okay, we are reaching the home stretch, and here we have some powders. I mentioned that I have kind of combination, more normal skin these days. Used to be very dry, so I don't know why I have so many powders. But I am going to be keeping a majority of these. These two I'm going to say goodbye to. I don't really feel like I need these loose high definition powders. So goodbye to the Coty Airspun, iconic, and this e.l.f. high definition powder. I don't need it. And the rest of these I am going to keep. This is the It by Pores pressed powder. I do like this, and I do find that it is very pore suppressing. It covers the pores and does leave a really smooth finish, as does this, which I tried on Jessica Braun's recommendation. It is the number 7 Lift and Illuminate. This is a translucent finishing powder, supposed to be a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury. I have not tried the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush powder, so I can't confirm. This is my only banana powder. Again, you know what? I think I'm just gonna declutter this. I was thinking, I do glam makeup on occasion, but in all honesty, I don't think that brightening up my eyes that much is really something that I'm looking to do these days. So I'm going to be rehoming this and seeing if one of my friends who does more glam makeup might get some use out of this. This is the last powder that I am going to be keeping. Oh, I forgot this is a loose powder, but we'll get to that. This is a Wet n Wild pressed powder. This had a Vogue. I don't remember who made this so popular, but at one point this was very popular, and I still really enjoy it. As you can see, it's one of the only items that I've hit pan on, and it was pretty domed. I find that it is really finely milled, and it has a bit of like luminosity to it, just a bit. So it does not at all make you shiny, but I find that it's great for setting my face in the areas that I want to be a bit more matte or satin, really, compared to the dewier parts on my face. So I will be keeping that and hopefully using it up. That would be really exciting. This is the Cover FX loose setting powder in the shade Light. I like this. It's a mini. I hope that I can use it up. I take it traveling, and if I was going to be more glam and maybe do some baking or something like this, this would be a great option, which is another reason why the NYX Banana Powder doesn't need to be in my collection. Okay, and last but not least here, we have all of my setting sprays. You might be able to conclude that I got these on a buy one, get one free deal. It was at Ulta. So these are the Catrice Long Lasting Prime and Fine. This one is the Dewy Glow. This is the Multi-Talent Fixing Spray. I kind of think of this as like a MAC Fix Plus, but I've never tried that, so I don't know if it is, but I use it to set my whole face. I use it to wet eyeshadows. I use it to dampen my sponge sometimes when I'm lazy. This one is a matte one, anti-shine. I don't use this very often. I did not need to include this in my purchase. I probably will go through these, but these are going to take me a lot longer. I may donate one because I probably don't need both of them. This is a holy grail. It really does. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter. This is just their summer solstice a limited edition. This is when I bought it. This is a mini size. I would buy the big size, but I only really use this for special occasions or when I'm traveling. So That's not happening very often now, and so I don't find that I ever really need the big size because I don't use it as a daily setting spray. But if I am, doing touristy stuff back when that is appropriate, I would use this, and it does make my makeup last a lot longer. So I will be keeping all of these, potentially thinking about seeing if anybody I know could use some of these more matte ones. Other than that, I am very happy with what we've managed to keep and what we've managed to declutter. Let's move over on to my drawer to see how everything fits.